Hello, good evening to you. Warm welcome to Prime Business. We begin business from the petroleum downstream sector because some oil marketing companies have started increasing prices of petroleum products at the pumps again. This was after the National Petroleum Authority directed them to reintroduce price stabilization and recovery levy on various products. George Biafe has more.
Development should mean that in just 2 days, the oil marketing companies have adjusted their prices at the pumps by some significant margin. Some of them had begun this review from Wednesday, with most of the big oil marketing companies changing prices at the pumps. However, based on this communication from the National Petroleum Authority, the market leader God is selling a litre of petrol at 14 Ghana cedis 15 pesos, whilst diesel is going for 14 Ghana cedis 74 pesos per litre for both Shell and Total Energies. However, petrol is going for 13 Ghana cedis 90 pesos per litre for Total Energies, whilst Shell is selling a litre of petrol at 14 Ghana cedis 15 pesos. Star Oil, which has always had the lowest values of the pumps, this morning selling a litre of diesel at 14 Ghana cedis 11 pesos, while petrol is going for 13 Ghana cedis 13 pesos. A careful look at the prices posted by most of these oil marketing companies showed that most of them have applied the 16 pesos price stabilization levy on petrol and 14 pesos on diesel.
On the back of that, economist Professor Peter Quartey is warning the recent price increases at the pumps as a result of the reintroduction of the price stabilization and recovery levy on petroleum products will have an impact on the overall inflation rate of the country. According to him, the fuel price hikes will affect the cost of production, transport fares, and prices of goods and services in the country. He's been speaking to Joy Business.
When you're able to raise the tax, then you cushion the poor. I think that's how it ought to be done. Trying to find ways by which the poor can be subsidized will certainly be the best way to go. But again, having a blanket subsidy will not really target the poor. Raise more revenue. If the poor needs better education, free education, you subsidize education. If the poor need water, provide them with more water. If the poor needs health facilities, better health facilities, or with the national health insurance, the better. Try and provide better health for the poor. I think those are the focus areas rather than having a blanket subsidy for everyone. All things being equal, I mean, if other areas, if food production or other areas do not change, everything held constant, it's certainly translating to higher prices. But, sometimes other areas do better, and so it might try to dampen the effects of the fuel price increase. Otherwise, it will have some effect, except that the effect might not be as huge as one would expect, but there's certainly going to be some increase in inflation. In the past, when we have estimated the pass-through, we saw a 16% increase, contribution to inflation. Not an increase in inflation, but a contribution to inflation. Fuel price adjustments had in the past done so. Currently, I don't know how that estimation may change, but it may have some effect on inflation.
Meanwhile, the Chamber of Consumers Ghana COPEC is calling for the rationalization of the price stabilization and recovery levy, as well as the special petroleum tax. According to the Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, it's about time a broader conversation is had on the purposes of these taxes for consumers. He also spoke to Joy Business.
We are paying for every cost of premix. Meanwhile, premix is sold. Some amount of premix gets back onto the regular white fuel market. Ends up in your tank because some of the people who would also live would also find, dubious ways of doing their own thing. So we need to do the chicken and egg thing. One has got to pay for the other. But you cannot as well use the stabilization and recovery levy as a cover, a front, an excuse to continue to collect 16 pesos per litre for petrol, right? Darryl, let me do the math for you. If you do just 10 pesos per litre, with our current consumption of almost 460 million liters, in a given month, you are doing 46 million Ghana cedis. Darryl, that is just for the white product, right? And so if you are doing this, you add LPG, you add the MGO, RFO and all of them, some of which may not attract anyway. But if you add all of them, you are collecting almost 50 million Ghana cedis, right? In the stabilization alone, if it was just 10 pesos, do half of that more, 70 million Ghana cedis. Are we saying we are subsidizing our fishermen to the tune of 70 million Ghana cedis every single month? That conversation has got to be had. Do we still need to keep the stabilization? If we do, does it have to remain at the rate at which it is? That's all. Secondly, we are also asking that government should take a second look at the special petroleum tax that it collects around 2 pesos. It should also look at the sanitation and pollution levy that it has slapped on all of us at 10 pesos. It should also look at other components of taxing that it has introduced in recent times and see how they can rationalize these taxes to give some relief. Anything other than this, we are simply looking at a situation where diesel could cross 16, 17 in no time. Petrol could also be inching up because, as I indicated, world market prices are going up. The CD is also fast depreciating. The outcome is only one. Prices will go up again.
From the petroleum sector, the Ghana Cocoa Board has told Joy Business government is working or considering an increase in the farm gate prices of cocoa beans for farmers. The decision, which is currently being deliberated upon by stakeholders in the cocoa sector, is targeted at improving farmers' well-being as well as reduce illegal movement of cocoa beans outside the country. Now, there is more in the following report.
The reason for this move, according to Cocoa Board, is to help stop smuggling, particularly Ivory Coast, which has announced a 100% increase in farm gate prices following a surge in global prices of the commodity. Already, Bloomberg is predicting about 50% increase in the prices for farmers. According to Bloomberg, if Ghana, which is the world's second biggest producer of the chocolate ingredient, should proceed with the pay boost, it would mark the first time the country will raise farmers' pay twice during the main crop season, which started last September and ends on June 30. Government has already raised the rate by 63.5% to 20,928 cedis a ton at the beginning of the period. Bloomberg analysis shows that cocoa futures in New York soared to multiple records in recent months after bad weather and disease-hurt output from Africa. The rush to secure supplies first pushed prices higher, but futures have now more than doubled this year as margin calls and forced buying put traders under stress.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, Dr. Edward Kariwe, is calling for an increase in the prices of cocoa beans by 150%. According to him, this will help reduce the rate of smuggling of the beans.
The beans that we produce in Ghana will no longer be smuggled to Burkina Faso. It will no longer be smuggled to Côte d'Ivoire. It will no longer be smuggled to Togo. And retain all these beans. Then we can sell it at this high price, then pay for the cost of the 150%, and then we have enough to save for for other projects. So I think this is what we have to do. It's not even about 100%. We should increase our prices by 150%. I'm saying that it is so because when you do it by 150%, then it will be attractive. Ghana's price will be above that of Côte d'Ivoire and will be above any other country's price, particularly with countries that are bordering us, like Togo, Burkina Faso, and so on. Therefore, we retain all beans, cocoa beans that we have in this country. They will no longer be smuggling. There will no longer be any incentive to smuggle the beans to Togo or Burkina Faso. Therefore, we now have enough beans to be able to sell at the international market at that high price of over $10,000 per ton. And that is a business strategy. And as a country, we must look at our interests. And international trade is talking about interest, and it's not talking about morality. It's not talking about fairness. It's talking about how much you can reap at a particular time.
Kenya's President William Ruto says Ghana, just like many other African countries, is the future of investment and economic opportunities. Speaking at the Ghana-Kenya Summit here in Accra as part of his state visit to Ghana, President Ruto noted that any investor looking to grow their business cannot overlook Ghana and other African countries in the coming years.
If there is any serious business person or investor or entrepreneur that is thinking about the future, and they are not thinking about Kenya, Ghana, and Africa, then there is something wrong with their future. My visit to Ghana is a clear demonstration that this is where the future of prosperity, of investment, of entrepreneurship, of business is. And I am greatly inspired listening to the business people in this room, beginning to understand the huge opportunity, the tremendous potential that exists in our continent. Investors, and I keep telling my countrymen in Kenya, investors don't necessarily have to be white, foreign. Sometimes they are your brother and sister next door. And it is important for you, as business people, to begin to open up your mind to the opportunities that exist within our borders. It is not possible to be prosperous when your neighbor is not. It's difficult. From the community I come from, it is said you can share wealth, but you cannot share poverty. It's difficult to share poverty. And so, the prosperity of Ghana is beneficial to the prosperity of Kenya. Or let me put it much more correctly. The prosperity of Ghana is good for Kenya and vice versa. Because that's how we can grow together. We are beginning to realize the tremendous potential that exists in the intra-African trade that my brother President talked about shortly. It is my wish that business people will build on that platform, will work with us as we work on the policy framework, as we eliminate the barriers, as we build the bridges to assist our business people move products, move goods, move services, and integrate our continent so that we can share the prosperity that comes with our working together.
In more business news, the Bunuafu Catholic Cooperative Society for Development, as part of efforts aimed at promoting the culture of savings in rural areas, is increasing its presence in villages across the Bunuafu enclave. The move, according to the general manager of the society, Alice Kupo, is to, amongst other things, help in the reduction of poverty by providing a reliable financial assistance to the vulnerable population who have been abandoned by the various traditional banks in the area. Anas Sabit has more.
Savings are quite often the primary source of financing for small individual projects. They are also the main source of funding used to meet daily needs such as education and health costs, purchase of inputs needed for agricultural crops, particularly for people in the rural areas. In sum, savings are essential for protecting and boosting the assets of both rural and urban population. While the range of savings of rural population is apparent, rural folks hardly have trusted financial institutions to rely on during difficult periods. It is against this backdrop that the Brong Ahafo Catholic Cooperative Society for Development was established 50 years ago mainly to reach out to the vulnerable who have been abandoned by the traditional banks. Mrs. Alice Kupo is the general manager of Techiman Backsword.
Backsword as a financial institution has done a lot to humanity. The impact of Backsword is greatly felt in the Bono and Brong Ahafo region. And talking of impacts, through Backsword, a lot of people have been able to expand their businesses through credits. Farmers have been able to expand their farms. We have parents who have been able to educate their wards. And we also have individuals who have taken loans to educate themselves. So Backsword has done so much as far as Bono regions are concerned.
Backsword, with a current client base of over 200,000 and with over 150 branches scattered across the Middle Belt, has over the past 50 years helped in the reduction of poverty across its operational areas.
The vision of the bishop was to alleviate poverty, and truly speaking, Backsword has helped a lot to reduce the poverty level in the Bono regions. So as we sit here now, as we celebrate this 50th anniversary, we can attest to the fact that that vision, it's not just to achieve a vision, but gradually we are getting to it. We've done so much that wherever the soul of my Lord Bishop is, truly will rest at peace, because the seed that he really put under the ground has germinated and has bear good fruits, which has become so attractive for all people around to pluck it.
Yuritege Maurice Yamego is the union chairman here. He says the institution's quest of sending banking to the people has over the years been Backsword's strength.
You see, the point about money is that money belongs to the people and is for the people. And so the people are not only in town, they only come to town for one or two businesses, but they live and stay actually in the remotest areas. And those are the areas that we actually move to. So we send banking to the people. We don't wait for them to come and do banking of us. We actually send banking to them. And in fact, one of the things, the strengths of that we rely on is the simpleness of our language.
50 years on, Backsword continued to be the most reliable financial institution, particularly for the rural population, and with the institution celebrating its 50th anniversary under the theme, Your Financial Partner for Life. Yuritege Maurice is optimistic that Backsword will soon become a national institution to serve the larger rural population across the country.
The next 50 years, thank God, we are going to reach the rest of the world. At the moment, we are dealing with about 4 or 5 dioceses. On top of that is Catholic dioceses. And it is our prayer that before the close of the year, we should reach out to the other dioceses in the country. And by all means, Backsword will go outside of Ghana, the territories of Ghana, and that will be our target. We want to build an international financial institution.
Anna Sabit, Joy News, Techiman.
The National Health Insurance Authority is reviewing its medicine list and tariffs to reflect the present economic situation of the country. This is among measures being adopted to deal with the challenge of illegal payments, popularly known as court payments, charged to clients of the insurance scheme. Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Dr. Da Costa Boaji, says the needed systems will be instituted for automatic adjustment of tariffs to reflect changes in the economy. Nanaya Ojima has more.
According to the NHIA, an average of 180 million cedis is paid monthly as claims to health facilities. In March 2024, the scheme made this payment to ensure servicing of its debts stays within the 90-day window for the payment of vetted debts. Reports of illegal charges at some health facilities, which have become known as co-payments, have continued despite improvement in payments made to the health facilities. Chief Executive Officer of the NHIA, Dr. Da Costa Boaji, explains the appropriate sanctions will be applied following the rollout of incentives, including the review of tariffs.
In fact, it is actually not right that after the National Health Insurance Authority over the last year has made commitment to pay the lower level tier up to December and the upper tier up to October, and facilities are still charging our members. This is not right. We are currently reviewing our tariffs to make sure that it commensurates with the increase in pricing. Once we do that, no facility will have the moral right to charge any of our members in the benefit package that we have provided. Any provider who go contrary to the agreed principles will be sanctioned.
The NHIA is on a long-term cost-saving agenda with procurement of Ghana cards for its 6.3 million users aged between 6 and 14 years. For this reason, the target age group will be issued the National Identification Card instead of the NHIA printing cards for the group.
So we have our own money. Normally we use it to print our NHIS card. We are saying that no, we will support government to print the Ghana card instead. Are we not saving money? Are we not saving money? We are saving a huge sums of money, and it is forward thinking. Anyone who disagrees with this is not for progress.
Meanwhile, a new office has been constructed at Kumawu to serve the needs of subscribers in the catchments. Kwadwo Jumo is Ashanti Regional Head.
This office represents more than just a physical structure. It symbolizes our dedication to innovation, efficiency, inclusivity in healthcare delivery. It will serve a hub for collaboration, creativity, and coordination, enabling us to better serve the healthcare needs of the communities we represent.
The NHIA Chief Executive is on a 3-day tour of the Ashanti region. For Joy News, Nanaya Ochima, Kumasi.
Time now for Entrepreneur You, and in case of an emergency, can all your assets take care of your liabilities in the short term? Knowing your current ratio is one way to answer this question. Dr. Maxwell Ampon explains further on today's episode of Entrepreneur You.
Strong current ratio means you are in a strong position to grow. Hello, happy Easter. For our Easter episode, today we discuss your current ratio. Your current ratio is a financial metric that you can use to evaluate if you can save yourself within a short period of time should anything bad happen. We calculate your current ratio by taking all of your current assets and dividing it by your current liabilities. Your current assets are all the things that you can convert into cash within 1 year. These include the actual cash you have in your pocket and in the bank. They also include your market securities, like your treasury bills. They include your accounts receivables. These are monies that people are due to pay you for services and goods that you have rendered out. They include your inventory that you can sell within the 1 year period and other assets that you can turn into cash within the 1 year period. Your current liabilities are also all of the money that you have to pay within the 1 year period. They include accounts payable, which are monies that you have to pay others for goods and services that they have given or rendered to you within the period of time. They include short-term loans. They include the current portion of a long-term debt, which means the debt payments that are due within this short period we are talking about of 1 year. Then you can have your taxes, your utilities, salaries that you pay your workers, the things that you intend to buy within this period of time, like a new watch, a new shoe, a new phone. It's basically all the monies that are due to go out within this 1 year period. So let's say your current assets are 80,000 Ghana cedis within the 1 year period, and the current liabilities are 100,000. This would mean to calculate your current ratio, you will divide the 80,000 by the 100,000, giving you 0.8. Now, what does that mean? It means that for every 1 cedi that you have to pay within this period of time, you're only 80% capable of paying these liabilities within the short amount of time. Even if you were to get to 1, the industry recommendation is that you have a current assets to current liability ratio of 2:1. Twice your current assets should be available for the total amount of your current liabilities. So what does it mean for you and me, our current ratio? For business owners and entrepreneurs, understanding your current ratio is crucial. It is not just a number or a percentage or a ratio, but a reflection of your financial health. A strong current ratio means you are in a strong position to grow. It means you're in a strong position to invest in new opportunities. And it also means that you can withstand financial setbacks should they happen within the short term. On the other hand, a weak current ratio could signal potential trouble ahead, requiring immediate attention to your financial management. That's all for today. Happy Easter to you and yours. Keep well.
Brought to you by Africa School of Entrepreneurship.
And Dr. Maxwell Ampon returns every Mondays and Thursdays here on the Joy News channel, and of course on radio on Joy 99.7 FM, and of course on all our social media platforms. That's it for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, log on to myjoyonline.com. I leave you with international business, after which Razak Musbao is next with Prime Sports.